Okay, normally you would be doing vegetables in 6-packs if you don't want to do seeds, but I did flowers. Same ideas. First of all, when you're buying, you can squish in the nursery and pull out. And when you see a root ball like that, the roots are not going to get out. And so what you would normally want to get one that looks more like this. This is where you want your roots. It's going to get out. It's going to come out easily. You can see, you can kind of move them out, and they're going to get out of the root ball. When you have something like this, I wanted to show you, if you do say, this is the only flower I want, if you break the roots, like off the cuts come new roots. And so it's important to cut the roots if it's all going in a circle, because it'll just keep going in a circle. Some people plant just pop. Back in England it works because they have really wonderful, moist, beautiful loamy soil probably, but here in California, if you don't, and places where they have clay soil, sand, they might get out, but in other places not. So here you can see I've roughed up the cut and it's going out. You can bring it out and you can undo the bottom, and then this plant will get out from the root system. So the way you plant your 6-pack is one, or any plant for that matter, except for tomatoes. So tomatoes are exception. These white roots are all over the stem on tomatoes, and they wind up rooting out. So you can actually plant the tomato deep and leave some of the top up, and you take all the leaves off and plant that are on the bottom where you're going to plant, and you sink that area into the ground, and all those little white hairs will become a root ball. So you might have a little 4-inch pot, and you bury it maybe 3 or 4 more inches with the leaves off on that area you're burying, and it will actually give you a quart-sized root ball, and you'll be moving faster towards a big plant. But if you plant any other trees, shrubs for the most part, most of them, if you bury the top of the crown, it rots. So the first thing is you would water your whole 6-pack or wherever you're going to plant. If you don't water them, if they're dry and you water your pot or your plant, the water may just go around. It's like a tabletop. It won't stay wet. It won't get the water in. So I have to say that it's really important that you have the root ball wet. If it's not wet and there's dry parts, it won't make it. Ask me how I know. I went and did a nursery where they gave me all these pots like these and said, plant up for sale. And I planted the pots, and the plants were dry, the soil was damp. It was a 100-degree day, and about a third of the plants died in the pots. So I know if you don't wet your plants, you're going to be in trouble. So they have to be wet. The next thing is you want them the same height, and you want them the same firmness. If it's all around them is loose, the water's just going to go to the easiest way. So when you plant, you want to have it firm. As this is firm, then everything else has to be firm. So you have to use your fingers or a board, but you need to make sure it's as firm around it. Those are the 3 steps. Wet, same height, same firmness. So if you're going to do a flower pot like this, you can plant closer than you would in the ground. So you want a big, beautiful bunch of colors. So this is not how you do in the ground normally. Normally, if this is going to be 6-inch, you would put this about like this. And this is going to be this big, so you might even put it over here. You kind of say this is going to be this size, and you give them accordingly. But when you're doing a pot, you don't do that. You stuff it, and you make it flowing over the top. So one of the things I want to do is I want to have something like these lovely violas that are yellow. And again, these are on the border of where I would like them, so I'm going to break them with my fingers like that. I can even use my, because it's not that tight, and undo the bottom. And so maybe this one will go as a front one. You know, maybe a couple of these to go over the front. I kind of like that idea. Because what these will do is they'll come over the top as a filler. And then we want to have some fillers. So here we go. I kind of like, what do you guys think? There we go. Okay, and then maybe, let's see, we got another yellow one. What do you think? There we go. And maybe another white one. And this one has the root ball, so I'm using, sometimes I use my shears. Sometimes I have a knife dedicated to this in the area. It's a big monster knife. It's kind of rusty, and I just go, and it's all done. I do all four sides and undo the bottom so it gets out, so it's all, and then I often go like this to make sure it's broken. And then you're going to get the roots out, so there we go. So now I've kind of said I like this design. These will be kind of high in the middle. These will called thrillers. I have some fillers that are going to be maybe about 6 to 12, and then I've got my spillers that are maybe going to come over. I'm kind of thinking, what do you think? We need about 3 spillers maybe? Because it's going to be a one-sided pot. It's going to be against a thing. So let's put one more filler. So you always do the filler, and so I'm going to start planting. So I'm digging a hole, and I'm putting it down in here. And I'm digging them in, hopefully. The nice thing is I've got some extra soil here. Now this soil's pretty wet, so I'm going to have to quickly water this. Normally I use it a little damper because it works better. I'm going to put this one over here again. And you dig down and you put it in around. And what you do is when you put, just so you know, when you put it in, you're pushing in really well. See, so it's as firm as the other. I'm kind of actually going, you don't want to, I've said people really well and they're planting ground and they start jumping on it like, to make it firm. That's a little too excessive. Please don't do that. But you do want to go and you do want to have it fully into the pot though. So let's get this one. There we go. There we are. Okay. So here we go. And then we have this incredible, expensive, but made by you because it is cheaper to buy the 6 packs than it is to buy the pot and this. So enjoy your planting.